As we come to the conclusion of my series on Vedic astrology series, it must be clear to all those who've been watching my videos that, according to the Vedic philosophy, the soul is given a chance to repay the karmic debts for all the wrongs we have done in our previous births. The soul has to suffer in the form of a human so that once it has paid all the debts, it can progress onwards in its journey to other higher dimensions. In other words, the soul is in the process of evolution, and the sages of the Vedic era had, somehow, figured that in its journey, the soul has to pass through this phenomenon we call life. Once a human develops around the soul, consciousness flows out from it, along the pathway called Ketu. The moment it interacts with matter, the mind is formed. The mind comes under the influence of Rahu, the north ascending node of the moon, which propels it towards the external world for the basic needs of food, shelter, security, etc. However, in the process of collecting essentials for survival, the person gets attracted to the world and all the worldly stuff it has to offer. They stop listening to the inner voice of the soul and get lost and trapped in mundane desires and scramble for material objects, all of which result in the creation of karmic debts. The soul is now trapped and has to keep coming back over and over again to repay its debts. It becomes a spiraling and never-ending kind of infinite trap for the soul. How the sages of the Vedic era were able to figure out the truth of the existence of a soul and karmic debts will never be known, as the soul is intangible. However, we know that karmic debts are created when we hate, cheat, hurt, kill, or do something bad to our fellow human beings. When we engage in such deeds, we not only disturb the natural order of the universe by destroying the trajectory of the journey of the souls of other people. As a result of centuries of studies in Vedic times, which was 30 to 40,000 years ago, a lot of subjects like advanced mathematics, physical and biological sciences, etc. emerged which were documented in the Vedas. Astrology was one of those subjects which was much more advanced as compared to present-day astronomy. With thousands of years between the Vedic era and the present, numerous languages replaced one after the other. The original subjects were altered and tailored as per the ego and needs of the communities that transgressed the earth between now and then, and the original concepts got lost to ages and translations. The subjects got altered, and what survives today in the name of astrology is a stupid and crass notion that everything is predetermined and can be foretold and that a person can lead a happy and fulfilling life by wearing gems and stones, bathing in specified rivers or doing various rituals after consulting a so-called astrologer. Friends, all those who advocate this, do so for their benefit. Otherwise, there are no remedies for the karmic debt. As I mentioned in a video entitled Understanding Suffering and Spiritual Growth, the link of which is provided in the description box below, a person will have to suffer for the soul's progress. Vedic astrology is based on the notion of karma, the good or bad deeds we did to our fellow human beings. The karmic debts chase us into the current birth in the form of our grandparents, parents, fraternal and maternal uncles and aunts, siblings, neighbors, offsprings, nephews, spouse, lovers, friends, people who work for us, people we work for, and people of all ages and capacities in our workplace and those associated with us in the conduction of our day-to-day business affairs. Either these people are there to aid our soul in its progress and evolution due to our good karma in our previous births, or else these people are here because we owe karmic debts to them. The sages, it turned out, figured that a careful study of the position of the astrological planets at the time of birth, and the particular fields on which the person did good or bad deeds that necessitated their birth, can be pinpointed. They also pointed out that a weak planet represents those aspects in which we did the evil in our previous births, and strong planets in a birth chart are due to the good deeds we had done. These strong planets aid us while charting our course through the present life and are there to help our souls evolve. I have clarified in previous episodes of this astrological series how we determine whether a planet is strong or weak in a horoscope. It is, however, imperative to remember that the sages of the Vedic era had implied that we are born with free will, and if we are not carefully handling ourselves and our demeanors, despite being born at a time when the astrological planets are strong, we will weaken them with our stupidities and lack of knowledge on how to live properly. In the process, we screw ourselves up. They also stated that if we are born at a time when the planets are weak, it doesn't mean that we're doomed to a life full of misery and trouble. We have the power to make weak planets strong by balancing the energies of weak planets through our deeds. As I've already stated, we are born to reap the harvest of the good and bad karmas we had sowed in previous births. An astrological planet in a horoscope represents various characteristics of ourselves. Sun represents our soul, Moon represents the mind, Mars is the physical vitality, Mercury is our nervous system, Jupiter is growth and expansion, Venus represents our capacity to enjoy, and Saturn is about wisdom, discipline, and rewards. These planets also represent the people in our life, who, as I stated earlier, have entered this life to help evolve our souls or to punish us, depending upon our good or bad karma of previous lives. All the people in our life are manifestations of the past life's karma, and as such Sun represents the father, grandfathers, and elderly gentlemen in our life, Moon represents mother, grandmothers, and elderly ladies, Mars represents brothers and friends, Mercury represents sisters, maternal and paternal aunts, Jupiter represents offsprings and children, Venus represents spouse and partners, and Saturn represents all the people who work for you or those who serve you. If any of these planets are weak in your horoscope, the only remedies are to either bear and suffer silently, reminding yourself all the time that you are paying your karmic debts, or else dedicate your life to the people represented by the planets and take good care of them to the best of your abilities. Even if they are rude or selfish or mean. Just ignore their ills and serve them, see to it that they are not hurt and not a tear must come to their eyes. When I said dedicate your life, I mean that you must be fully committed and devoted and must sacrifice your present birth to them like a slave to a master. And you will see, experience, and feel the strength of your planets increasing. This, my dear friends, is the concluding episode of my series on Vedic episodes. If you are new to this field, it'd be better if you watched each of the videos of this series in chronological order. Perhaps you will have to watch some of them a couple of times, and then you will see it all loud and clear. The basic fundamental of survival and redeeming karmic deeds is by living this life, unscathed by the mischievous nature of the north node of the moon called Rahu. The main idea is that you must have knowledge of things about and around you, and then only will you be able to live a contented and comforting life without creating karmic debts and grow on all fronts while preparing your soul to evolve. Thank you for watching this series. This is the last episode of the Vedic Astrology. Next, we will focus on the essentials we must know to live a happy and fulfilling life. Please subscribe if you haven't already and hit the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is uploaded.